It's season 3 of Sports Outta Pocket.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
We bring you the craziest controversies.
We got Tyreek Hill, who's fined $7,000
For not wearing socks. That is the dumbest fine I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Fire me up.
And I have to go at this Braves offense for not doing a thing in October for the second year in a row.
And the return of twin picks.
That's not even in discussion.
I think what you should do is shut up and let the judges speak. Interviews you don't want to miss.
This is the Philly sports guy, and you're listening to Sports Outta Pocket.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Sports Outta Pocket is back and better than ever.
Let's go!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Sports Outta Pocket. I am here with Chase, Andrew, and Jackson. We have an amazing show for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about the Shohei Ohtani situation. We're going to have a twin picks debate. And for our Fire Me Up segment tonight, what happened with our brackets? March Madness was crazy. All of our brackets are busted. Who did it?
Auburn.
Yeah.
We know who
Auburn.
did it. We know
And
who did it. It's no secret.
Yeah.
We lost to a bunch of nerds from an Ivy League school.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was a great watch. I loved being able to watch all those basketball games. It was very entertaining. But you know what's going to be even more entertaining, ladies and
Nothing
gentlemen?
could be more entertaining than that.
What is it, Steven? Tell us.
How about Wolfstock
Wolfstock?
2024? Ladies and
2024?
gentlemen, are you
That's
ready
crazy.
for the hottest concert that ever hit West Georgia to make its return? Wolf Radio has got you covered with Wolfstock 2024. Unleash the wolf from within. On Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 6 to 9 p.m. There will be live music, food, games, and more in the Campus Center Ballroom. Don't miss out on UWG's own finest performers. Dark Soul Thugs, Jay Pruitt, Kamal Sassier, Collar, Lumina, and XO.
Really?
Unbelievable lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Wolfstock 2024 is brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, America Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions, plus Osier Apparel. Now, let's get into the show.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversies.
All right, so we got a big controversy that has been booming in the past week in the MLB. We have Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter. His interpreter got fired for taking out $4.5 million in betting in illegal bookings, and Shohei Ohtani allegedly does not know anything about it, and he spoke to the media today.
I think that's a bunch of crap. I think he
so?
knew all of it. I think Ohtani knew. Listen, they're gonna be an investigation. There's already an internal investigation probably in baseball right now. What I'm saying right now is even if they do find out that Ohtani was involved in this somehow, they're not going to suspend the guy. Ohtani's making them too much money. Of course they're not going to suspend him. But you're telling me that his interpreter, that he's known since childhood, had his money and was betting on all these games, and he didn't know about it?
No, and
I can't buy it.
I think you're right. I think if it was just like any other interpreter with any other player, you're like, sure, maybe he did it behind his back. But like you said, these are childhood best friends we're talking about. This is a relationship that is unmatched, something you don't really see when it comes to that kind of job title. And I think for that reason alone, Ohtani probably gave him the rights to his money to be like, you know what, go have fun. Go spend the money that I just got, the bag that I just secured. And now it's like his interpreter's paying the price for it. But, I think Ohtani didn't know about it.
So I have my stance on this. I think that Ohtani's going to get out of it. If he did do it, I think he's going to get out of it because it's going to be like, it was misinterpreted.
Because it's Ohtani. They're not going to...
They're not going to suspend the guy.
It's not... honestly, I'm on team Ohtani. I think you can look at this the other way around. The fact that they are childhood best friends maybe proves that maybe, he's been with Ohtani since the start of his career. Mm-hmm. So maybe because of this close relationship, he felt comfortable enough taking his money to cover a little bit of debt at a time, and maybe it got too big, the gap got too big until they started to realize. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we should be quick to say that Ohtani was any part of this.
I think what we need to be investigating is you look a little different. I don't know. You just look different now.
I know.
Did you get shorter?
No.
Definitely.
I've been hanging with John.
Did you get
I'm trying to look a lot more like John.
So here's my thing about that. You look at it both ways when it comes to this. Either Ohtani, right, knew about it the entire time. He was in on, like, he knew that his friend was, like, obviously putting those monies in for bets. But also at the same time, if he did, that's still a little shady. I mean that's still bad. Like, either that or he's just not. He's not smart with his money, and that makes no sense. How do you have that big of a contract and you're just going to hey, I don't care if we've known each other since we were 2 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give somebody, like, complete assets to my financials.
What is crazy is, like, the $4.5 million out of Shohei's pocket is maybe, like, $100, maybe, like, $50 to us, because he makes like $70 million a year. His whole entire contract is like 10 years, $700 million. So it's like very little to him. What's huge to us.
Yeah, I don't want to get in how much we're all making, but
I work at Chick-fil-A. Spoiler alert, it's not that much.
I'm not making Ohtani money for sure.
Well, I mean, but it might not be. He could also not been smart with his career if Ohtani did have any part of this. Because look at the recent sports history. Look at how many players have gone in trouble with betting. Calvin Ridley, the Keyshawn receiver at LSU,
and Pete Rose.
Yeah,
guys like Pete Rose in baseball.
Look at how many players are getting their careers hurt. Ruining their schools or team's reputation because of betting. So you would think Ohtani has to be smarter than that, knowing the risks that are involved. If he did have any part of this, he might not have.
No, my whole thing. Okay, let's just shift this conversation to when it comes to like players and like betting rules and all this other stuff. Is it okay for players to bet on like other sports?
I think so.
It's interesting you brought that up because Ohtani's interpreter actually brought that up in a statement. He made a claim saying, well, even if I was caught in this betting scandal, it was sports like football, basketball, soccer. It wasn't baseball, which to me, it doesn't matter regardless. Now, if you're playing in that league like Calvin Ridley was, then yes, it does matter. But as an interpreter, I don't really know how much. I think since you're involved in baseball, it probably does matter a lot. So I think maybe he did make a good argument for that case.
I think that's a big part of the investigation because, like you said, betting is a thing people do. So if he wants to go bet on other sports, as long as it's nothing in the baseball realm, it should be fine. But then again, I don't know. We'll have to see what this investigation finds out because there could be a lot more undercover that we actually don't know.
Yeah,
this is all too shady.
Yeah, it was reported earlier from what I saw on the TV that MLB is probing an investigation into Ohtani and Mizuhara.
I guarantee you there's a lot.
They're going to come out and say that there's nothing that we found that Ohtani was involved in this because I'll tell you this right now. There's two guys that make in Major League Baseball so much money. It's Ohtani and Acuna.
Oh, yeah.
And Ohtani, listen,
and
I love Acuna to death.
As well.
I love Acuna to death, but I promise you, here's Acuna's money making for MLB. Here's Ohtani's. It's up there to the roof. Ohtani makes them so much more money. There's just no way that they're going to suspend him for anything.
And also on an international level.
Yes, on an international level, you got players from Japan who are more invested in MLB than any international team has or any other outside country has before.
Right. Look, when we was at the Angels, look at how much the Angels fan base grew nationally and internationally because Ohtani was on that team.
Exactly. Yep.
Did you know there's not that many Angels fans out there? Come on now.
There really is not. The only people who watch the Angels, it's for Mike Trout.
Right.
Hey, you know what? And shout out to Schrader. I didn't know that there was a lot of Marlins fans before I met.
I thought they were extinct. I thought they were extinct.
Shout out to Schrader though. Schrader, you're the good one.
He's like 1 in 40 out there. We just happen to find the one. It's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Hey, but
we just happen to get
the
one.
Marlins are offering $50 all-you-can-eat seats at their stadium.
I saw that.
Hey,
that's enough.
There's very few teams that do that due to low attendance, like the Athletics, the Rays.
What do you mean athletics? What are you talking about?
Low attendance, athletics.
Athletics?
Low attendance. What are you talking about?
Their ballpark is booming,
bro. Tampa Bay too. What are we talking about?
Come on, a dome? You don't like a dome?
All right, Twins. Let's get debating.
Two brothers,
same birthday,
completely different takes.
Oh boy! Yes!
It's time for Twin Picks.
You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Twins to debate on a certain subject. Now, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, of the score. Right now, Chase is leading this season with 2 points. He was the champion last year. He's looking to go back-to-back. Andrew got the win last time.
I thought it was 1-1 this season.
2-1.
2-1 this season?
2-1.
Oh, yeah.
2-1 so far. Chase has 2 points. Andrew has 1. Andrew, you got a point last time. You're on the comeback right now.
Off a win,
but
man.
here's what's at stake, ladies and gentlemen. If Chase wins this debate...
Win, Chase.
Chase will win Twin Picks for this season, but if Andrew wins, we're gonna have a rubber match, the 5th Twin Picks for this season, and that will decide who's the Twin Picks champion.
It won't happen.
Most likely in the final episode.
Guys, final episode. Be prepared for that decision-making Twin Picks episode because I'm taking the throne on this one. Chase, you go right ahead. Introduce the topic, and you go and explain your lousy point first, man. Go and get that crap out of the way.
So, March Madness, we are in the realm of the Sweet 16. This is where things really start to heat up. So this is an appropriate time to talk about who is more likely to win the championship. Now, in our personal brackets, if you've been keeping up with the social media, you'll know about that. I had the UConn Huskies winning back-to-back, the first since the Florida Gators in 06 and 07.
07, 08. But close enough.
I think it was 06, 07.
Okay, who cares?
Anyways, it doesn't matter. You had the North Carolina Tar Heels, holding up their trophy, their first since
2017.
2017, thank you.
No,
Now,
they beat Gonzaga.
It don't matter, shut up.
Yeah,
Anyways, the UConn Huskies, you got to look at their beautiful, outstanding roster led by Tristan Newton, Cam Spencer.
Who?
When you watch this team play not only in the regular season, but especially here in March Madness, rolling through Session, playing Northwestern that everybody was high on after their big performance against Florida Atlantic.
Northwestern.
Beat him, what was the score, 91 to 50 something?
It's Northwestern.
But it's not just
Yawn.
me. It's just not me. You gotta look. If you look at the UConn Huskies and how they play as a team, they are so sound. They are so complete. They are so fluent. The chemistry is keen, man. They are. And
Can you put that thesaurus away, dude? Listen.
I want to find the man who said this before I quote him.
Oh my gosh, he's not even bringing up his own personal argument.
I need 4 more synonyms out of you, Chase.
He's gotta use resources, man. He's not pulling in raw facts. He's not pulling up raw numbers. We like raw things around here, man, and I got it on my paper.
No.
Let me go. You're boring me with your words. Let me go.
You won't let me talk, man. Go. Go. Fine.
Let me pull up some numbers for you, buddy. Stats, because that's what the sports people care about, man. UNC cruised past Wagner in the opening round, but you're like, yeah, it's Wagner. Okay, what about when they stormed past those Michigan State Spartans in the second round, who took down Mississippi State, who a lot of people were high on because they found a lot of success in a very good SEC conference this year. Well, the Tar Heels, one thing I really love about them, and an important aspect that you have to have if you want to be successful in March Madness, is you have to battle through adversity. And that is exactly what the Tar Heels did. Because this is what happened in that game against Michigan State. North Carolina, we all know, they have one of the most talented, one of the most deep, experienced rosters remaining in the March Madness field right now. But people forget that in that game against Michigan State, the Spartans came up sharp in pulleys right from the tip-off, and they got up to a 12-point lead with like 2 minutes hanging left in the first half. And North Carolina had to go in that locker room with the legit reality that they might get eliminated early, and they knew they were too good for this.
Who's the vessel of that North Carolina offense?
Excuse me?
Who's the vessel of that North Carolina offense?
The rebounder in the paint,
Who?
man.
And what's his name?
I can't remember his first name, but Baycoat is what is
Baycoat?
Amarndo Backhoe.
Backcoat, that's what I said.
This is the team you're representing, and you don't know the keen player of that offense, and he got bullied in the ACC championship by the Kool-Aid man, the big boy for NC
DJ
State.
Burns?
We're talking about NC State.
DJ Burns.
Hold on.
Now, set that aside. Mike Greenberg said himself that this UConn team could beat the Detroit Pistons.
That was ridiculous. He knows nothing about that. I don't even know how he still has a job.
He said,
what are you grabbing?
this UConn team could make the Eastern Conference playoffs. You are not going to find another team in the recent college basketball history that has that much praise other than the UConn Huskies.
You gotta let me defend myself here, okay? Because
And they play
you
San
barely
Diego
been giving me
State.
an argument.
That's an easy path already to Elite Eight.
Stop.
Out of all the Sweet 16 teams, UConn.
You're not giving me a chance to give
pay
them
for those.
The judges have to hear me out too, buddy.
All right, Andrew, go ahead.
So here's the problem that I have with your argument. Yes, UConn won the national championship last year, but we all know that the Elite Eight, the Sweet 16, the Final Four last year was built with a bunch of double-seeded teams like Miami, San Diego State, teams that made miraculous upsets in the first round.
Is that always the case?
Stop. But guess what UConn has to go through this year? They got teams like North Carolina, Houston, Arizona, Clemson, NC State, State, Duke, teams like that, Kentucky. Oh, sorry, not Kentucky. Teams like that standing in their way. This path is not going to be.
Did you not hear what I just said?
Shut up. This path is not going to be a little strawberry shortcake cheesecake walk that they did last year. This is a grown man's game, and it takes a grown man team. Okay, North Carolina has also got players like Hampton, R.J. Davis, players that can score on the outside. Why? What's his name? Baycott. How do you say his name?
Armando Baker.
It's really not that hard of a name to say.
While he's in the paint, defending the glass, grabbing the rebounds, kicking it out to the outside shooters. That's how you fight through adversity. Because if you're not dominating the paint, then you can get out rebounded. You don't create second chance points. But that's what North Carolina does the entire game, and they've got the shooters to support that playmaking inside. And when it comes to when you're playing teams like Houston, who are fast paced, why do you think Alabama almost went down to Grand Canyon? Hold on, because Grand Canyon was a gritty team. Alabama didn't have the playmakers to step up.
No.
Yeah, look, your mic's falling, just like your argument. Everything's coming apart over
you're
there,
wrong.
buddy. I'm standing still. I don't need a paper. I don't need a computer in front of me, buddy. I am just speaking facts. It's about the game of basketball, man.
It's not always about rebounding and kicking out to open shooter. Who has
UConn gone through yet?
UConn is exactly.
The ACC has 4 teams in the Sweet 16. They've got legitimate teams.
UConn is playing teams like crazy.
North Carolina's gonna play those teams all season.
Okay, I'm gonna give y'all 10 seconds each. Chase, you're going first. I'm gonna count down with my finger. 10
seconds of your life.
What do you got?
UConn is the deepest team in the tournament. They have 9 deep that play 20 plus minutes, and they all contribute equally. This squad will not get tired.
All right, Andrew, 10 seconds.
No, UConn may have a deep roster in your eyes, but they don't have the legitimate star playmakers that North Carolina does. And every team that wins a natty has those players. UConn has role players.
Are you saying UConn is a bunch of role
When you're playing teams like Houston, and that's not going to cut the cake, dude. That's not enough.
That's time.
That's not how you fight through adversity,
If I'm going first,
man.
okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go straight out with it. There's one team that you pointed out that is, in my opinion, going to upset this UConn team. It's Iowa State.
Thank you.
Iowa State is a team that I've got upsetting UConn in the Elite Eight. I think Iowa State makes it to the Final Four. Now another one I've got is Gonzaga. That's a little bit more of a prayer on my end because Purdue is looking.
Good so far,
in my opinion, the best team in the tournament right now is looking like Purdue. That's just my personal opinion.
They've dominated both games up and down the court. You're right.
Just because I got to stick with my pick, and obviously I'm riding with the Tar Heels, I've got to go with Andrew.
That's a good pick. You listen, man. You listen to the numbers. You don't listen to whatever he was yapping about.
You won't even let me talk.
I let you talk too much.
Jackson,
give it to me.
Viewers.
Give it to him. All right. So I originally had UConn to win the entire thing.
Yes.
And you still
UConn is playing San Diego State. San Diego State is fluctuating. There's a reason why they were listed at the number 16 team left in this tournament.
Easy path to the
Illinois, Iowa State. Iowa State has had a great season, don't get me wrong. Illinois is led by Terrence Shannon Jr. We're looking at North Carolina. North Carolina has R.J. Davis. They do have Baycott. But they have to face the Alabama Crimson Tide. Look at this. If North Carolina wins this round, which I believe they do, they have to go against Arizona. Caleb Love, Umar Ballo.
They're playing Caleb Love, their former player.
So
they know his
that should light a fire under him.
That's a headline in the making.
All right. So my original pick was the UConn Huskies.
You know what to do.
I'm still going UConn. I'm still going UConn. Arizona's gonna be North Carolina.
That's why. Our man Christian is not here. I have a feeling I know where this is about to go. Mr. Howley, who do you have?
Don't listen to your bracket. Listen to the argument.
Picks.
Let's go! We are
North Carolina.
We are tied, baby.
Wait, John. North Carolina?
Yeah, he's
Over
looking at me.
Hold on.
He's
Ask
looking
the
at
two
me.
in the back. It's already decided, but ask the two in the back.
Hey, it's already decided. Were y'all even listening?
No, they got it. That's right. I'm standing tall, man.
That had to be the most botched
I'm not
picks.
gonna lie to you. I thought Hallie was picking Chase all day
Because
I think Hallie's got
Hallie has
the whole
UConn.
tournament.
That's
actually crazy.
But it's based off the argument. It's not based
Your
off
argument made no sense.
You were just.
You wouldn't let me talk.
I let you talk too much.
Let me bring everybody up to
It's
speed on
not
what's
even,
going on.
man.
It is now tied. It is now Andrew with 2 points, Chase with 2 points, and on the season
crazy.
finale
That's crazy.
of Sports Outta Pocket, we are going to decide who is the Twin Picks champion for season 3. So we're going to go into a quick song. When we come back, we got to get into this lottery and who we think is going to be the Cy Young for each league for this year for baseball, and what's the game of the week for this March Madness.
And make sure to tune into WolfSportsNetwork.com if you want to listen to the songs while we're on the break.
Banger music.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
Going back, Kane at the wall. That is goal!
And you are listening to Sports Outta Pocket.
Hey guys, it's John Halley from Triple Threat. We're on TriCaster tonight. Reason why I picked Andrew is because, it comes down to all the statistics, stats. Yes, I know I have UConn personally, but, I just don't see North Carolina winning, man. I mean, look, great argument, but guess what? You get to duke it out at the very end. But plus, I got to stick with my Team Heel captain, man. I have to. I mean, it's just, I like this argument more. But hey, it's gonna be one heck of a finisher for y'all. And then make sure y'all tune in on Wolf Sports Network to listen to awesome songs, man. Just we're radio station first, so don't forget that as well.
This is Sports Pack.
I think Mahomes, Reed, Swift, Kelsey, all of them go into M&T Bank Stadium and get the job done. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC Championship and sending home the Baltimore Ravens.
I want to see the Lions in the Super Bowl, but I think the 49ers are going to overwhelm them.
Sports Pack is back. Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Only on Wolf Sports Network.
With the first pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select.
This is the lottery.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about what we think as an out-of-pocket crew of who is going to be the Cy Young for the American League and the National League. Now, I guess I'll start this off by go ahead and saying that obviously Spencer Strider is going to be the National League Cy Young for my pick.
I was hoping that'd be your pick.
100%.
Now, I will say that it's, in my opinion, it's a three-pitcher race, okay?
In the National League?
In the National League. Now, I know Blake Snell won last year, but that's just because I think Spencer Strider had kind of a rough patch at the end of the year, and Blake Snell was able to stay consistent enough to get that NL Cy Young last year. Spencer Strider this year is on a mission. Man's going to have 300-plus strikeouts. Man's going to have probably 15-plus wins. Man is probably going to have a 3-something ERA. Spencer Strider is on a mission this year, and I believe he's going to be that guy to bring home the Cy Young trophy. Now, here's the thing. It's not just Spencer Strider that's in the race for this. We got a guy in Philadelphia.
Yeah, okay, I was hoping you'd go there too.
That is gunning for that position as well, and Mr. Zach Wheeler.
Yes.
He's on pace to be their ace. He's just got a big extension.
Man, we were
it's going to be a close
hoping
race.
He should be the race.
Man, we were hoping was going to be in a Braves uniform pretty soon, but Phillies were smart.
Phillies were smart, and they extended him. Now the Braves need to be starting to extend Max Fried.
Thank you.
We're waiting for it.
We're waiting on it. But also at the same time, in the American League race is interesting. I've got a guy in my head that I feel like is going to be in that race because obviously he's always in there. He's been amazing. I'm looking at Kevin Gausman for Toronto to be that guy.
I think he's on my list.
I think he's going to be a good candidate for it. I mean, obviously you have guys like Garrett Cole. You have guys up there
Garrett
like
Cole's out
Urquidy.
for a couple months.
Garrett Cole's not going to win
do you have Kevin Gausman because Garrett Cole is going to be out for 3 months?
Yes.
To me, that Garrett Cole being out for 3 months makes the AL Cy Young a lot more open.
It makes it a lot more
NL.
open. It really does.
It does.
It really does.
I mean, because obviously there's just, I'll be honest, I'm thinking about the American League. There's not a pitcher that jumps to my mind like Kevin Gausman.
Not like the NL where you got like your Strider, your Zach Wheeler. Which another guy
don't get me wrong, Corbin Burns for the Orioles is another guy that's going to be gunning for that spot. But Kevin Gausman, just for me, because of like the momentum that he's riding from last year, I think Kevin Gausman brings home the trophy.
Now, another guy from the AL that I'm surprised that you haven't brought up yet, because I don't have him. My personal pick for the AL right off the bat is I actually didn't pick one. I picked one for the NL, but I forgot to pick one for the AL. I don't know. It's too open for me. But Luis Castillo is in my running for the AL
for the Mariners.
For the AL Cy Young Award. Now, Jackson, I'm actually interested to see who you have that list because you haven't said a word yet.
If you say Sonny Gray, I'm going to kick you off the chair.
And I was
Sonny Gray.
And he did get extended though.
Yeah, so
which I didn't really see. I was kind of surprised by that.
So who you got over there?
All right. So I originally forgot that we were doing this, so I didn't have 2 picks. So I just got 2 picks. All right, my picks for the AL. You did bring him up, Mr. Corbin Burns.
Okay.
Mr. Corbin Burns. He signed in a really big contract with the Baltimore Orioles. Yes, he had a down year with Milwaukee, but I feel like this is gonna light a fire under him and try to prove that why he got that contract, why he was brought over to Baltimore. And the Baltimore Orioles had a 100+ season or a 100+ win season last season, and I think Corbin Burns can definitely add to that.
Before you say anything, Chase, I actually want to stop you there real quick because I'm actually glad you brought up Corbin Burns more because you even said it. He had a down year last season, but even when you consider it an off season, he still racked up 200 strikeouts and poised a 107 WHIP in 100.
And he's a former Cy Young winner.
In 193 innings. Yeah, so I actually think for that to be a down year for Burns, that should be very uplifting for what he could offer on the table this season.
Well, absolutely, and I think I'm actually with you on Team Corbin Burns, and it has to be with comfortability. I think Baltimore is
again with at the source.
It's not that big of a word. I think he's more comfortable in the atmosphere and the culture at Baltimore, the players he has around him. It allows him to, it takes the pressure off his shoulders and it allows him to do more and to work on his game, and knowing he has an offense that can absolutely back him up and a pitching staff that on a day-to-day basis is also going to produce, just as well as he is. I think because of that, he's going to put that down year behind him. He's going to go back to the Corbin Burns we know that potential can reach.
Yeah, my National League. Okay, so I originally.
I'm sorry, Strider's my National League. I don't know if I said that.
I think all of our Braves fans
No. So my National League, before Blake Snell signed with the San Francisco Giants, I was honestly gonna go Logan Webb, because Logan Webb, the second guy that was in that starting rotation was Kyle Harrison. Now Kyle Harrison, underrated pitcher. He's not even a Cy Young candidate, but it's looking like Blake Snell is going to be the ace in San Francisco. But it's going to be between Zach Wheeler, Spencer Strider. So it's one of those two. Give me Strider. I feel like it's going to have a
all right, so we've all got
here.
Strider. Here's the thing about it, though.
Strider.
The National League race is a lot more competitive, in my opinion, than the American League.
Agree.
Yeah.
Look at the pitchers you have. Jordan Montgomery just signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And remember, Shohei Ohtani's not pitching this year.
He's not.
Nobody has even touched the name Zach Gallen, which is really bothering me.
Zach Gallen as well.
But
Jordan Montgomery's
and I'd even also Justin Steele from Chicago might have an upbringing this year.
Hey, you know what? And I'm not going to disrespect him. There's Freddie Peralta with the Milwaukee Brewers that can.
Right.
And there's this other guy as well, Sonny Gray from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Who?
He came in. Listen, he came in second on the Twins roster.
We're not talking about
Twins roster.
Our road to
He came in second last year in the AL Cy Young. Yes, he's injured for the first week. Yeah, AL Cy Young last year. He came in second place.
Well, listen, when he takes out his dentures and he's walking with the walker out there on the mound, man, we'll give him some credit.
32.
We'll give him a standing ovation. It's okay. No,
hold on. No,
along with the rest of your rotation.
Sonny Gray's the same age as Zach Wheeler.
Listen, Sonny Gray's just no.
Zach Wheeler's
Don't
different,
compare him
man.
to Zach Wheeler.
Don't
do that.
Don't be disrespectful.
We all remember the young Sonny Gray on the A's, and then what happened when we went to the Yankees. He was on the Twins. He rose up again. Now, is he going to have the same transition with the
He's
going
to prove why that 3
I don't know,
75.
man. New atmosphere doesn't do well for him.
Spencer Strider is my pick, but watch out for Zach Gallen. That knuckleball can get him places.
Man,
Bryce Elder is my sleeper.
Spencer Strider adding that curveball is what's really doing it for me in spring training, because he is.
That's why he's in the minors.
He's insane. He's killing it. The off-speed pitch with Strider, dude, any baseball player talking about his fastball is just like, it's literally like it starts from knee high and then it just goes chest. It's a rising fastball. That's why people have such a hard time hitting it.
A lot of people say that they don't even see it rise. They'll just swing at it low and then it just disappears. They don't know where it goes.
Crazy.
In last year's playoff, I saw like an ump's POV of one of Strider's fastballs. I'm just like what do you do? What do you do?
You don't.
All right.
You don't.
It's time to talk about some March Madness.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Veer leans back. This game is turned upside down.
It's time for the game of the week.
All right, so before we all pick what our game of the week is going to be for the Sweet 16, let's just talk about what happened with all of our brackets.
Ooh.
Obviously, I made the poor decision of putting Kentucky in the Elite Eight. That was a bad choice. I don't know why I decided to pick them over Marquette.
I mean, what are the odds that Jack Golke would shoot 10 three-pointers?
Even if Kentucky gets past Oakland, right? They get past the round of 32. Marquette was gonna mercy rule them in the Sweet 16.
I was joining you. I also had Kentucky in my Elite Eight, and the only reason I had Kentucky over Marquette is because Marquette has been battling injuries all year. But it just so happens that as soon as March Madness starts, they finally get a complete healthy roster, and now we're starting to see what Marquette looks like with a complete roster. And if I would have known that, I would not have picked Kentucky even over Marquette. But it wouldn't matter because Kentucky couldn't give it to Oakland. Not even Oakland, California. This is Oakland, Wisconsin?
I think so.
Michigan.
Is it actually Oakland, Michigan?
I thought it was Oakland, California.
We all did. So did everybody.
We all did.
You want to know what's crazy? The guy who shot lights out against Kentucky got like 6 different sponsorships with like Pizza Hut, Safe Light, or something.
I saw him advertising a bunch of people
on Instagram.
Look,
on his Instagram. Instagram.
Brendan's out here calling Grand Canyon University a fake school. Let's do some investigation on this Oakland school. I mean,
who put Kentucky in the dance? I want to see Illinois State was
a team that also busted my bracket was Kentucky, and I put them in my Final Four. Yet I am still top 5.
But
I'm tied for 4th.
Here's my thing.
But here's the thing. Hey, gentlemen. Out of everybody in this room, whose all Final Four teams are still in the tournament right now?
I had Auburn in my Final Four, unfortunately, and they lost to Yale.
Gonzaga, you gotta bring it home for me, baby. You gotta bring it home.
Chase Jones, James Madison.
Listen, Kentucky losing for your Final Four is more embarrassing than James Madison.
I'm taking a step up. I nailed the James Madison over Wisconsin pick.
So did I.
But then the Dukes got ran through by Duke. So
I should have picked Duke over Wisconsin, but that's also at the same time, Duke's not that great of a team. I'm sorry.
Duke's
going to lose in the round of Sweet 16.
It's because of your typical blue blood. So most people are going to be attracted towards Duke just because they're Duke.
Yeah.
Speaking of blue bloods, I can't get over this Kentucky Wildcat situation, dude. If y'all do not move on from Coach John Calipari, who is now 1-4 in his last 5 March Madness games, he is ruining the history, the culture, the foundation of Kentucky basketball.
Okay.
I would be pissed off if
so
I
don't think it's 100% his fault. It's not 100% his fault. We had our entire starting 5 besides Antonio Reeves was all pretty much freshmen. DJ Wagner went 0 for 9.
Okay.
He went 0 for 6 in the field goal and went 0 for 3 in the 3-point range.
What about
he was benched?
What about 2 years ago then, when y'all had
lost to St. Peter's?
Y'all had a team full of sophomores and juniors.
Last year we went to the Sweet 16.
What about a team full of sophomores
about.
and juniors and y'all couldn't beat St. Peter's? It's the same thing with different
Now,
players. It doesn't matter what class they're in.
Kentucky was that obviously that was embarrassing, losing in the first round. But you know what's even more embarrassing? Losing to a bunch of losers, a bunch of nerds from Yale. Auburn. What are you doing?
Hey! Shout out to Gavin Ellis who chose Auburn as his champion.
Because he's
I'm
a
sorry
Georgia
about
fan.
that. That actually really sucks. Because honestly, Auburn's not that
I'm not
bad
sorry
of a pick.
about it.
Do you know what I've learned?
Wait, so hold on. Did Gavin have Auburn in his championship?
Yeah,
You had him
As
winning.
his champion.
His
As
championship
champion.
That's what it was. I thought he picked Yale over Auburn.
That was Aiden.
You're right,
Schrader
you're right.
had Kansas win.
I had Auburn in
But
my
Kansas
Final
made it farther
They're the
than
only
Auburn.
two that, right now, it's literally for. I'm sorry. I'm gonna move on. There's 3 teams that everybody's got as a champion right now. It's either Houston, North Carolina, or UConn.
Okay.
Right.
Which pretty much everybody's got UConn. I
And
think
nobody's
like 2
talking
people.
about
Carly, I
Purdue.
think, has Houston.
Nobody's talking about Purdue.
And then me and you, Andrew, we're riding with North Carolina.
We are,
Hopefully they
man.
can make it to the championship.
Tar Heels all the way, baby.
All right, so who's everybody's game of the week?
So my game of the week, I've got to look at this Creighton and Tennessee matchup.
I got Creighton in my natty, man.
Creighton
that
is
game
on.
important.
I have UConn beating Creighton in my national championship.
That
So yeah,
game-
this is a crucial matchup for me.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. Tennessee, it's been looking pretty good
For Dalton Knecht. He is a first-round talent in the NBA.
The three ball has really been showing up to the Volunteers in the first 2
Tennessee
rounds.
relies so much on their starting 5, though.
Well, here's my
You could say the same
here's my
about Creighton.
problem. Creighton against Oregon showed me that weakness in their defense. It
It
showed
is.
me that their perimeter defense is not that great. They're not getting out on these players. Tennessee is an offensive juggernaut when they need to be. Tennessee can close out games, and if they have a lead in that second half with about 5 minutes left, let's say they're up by 3 points, 4 points, Tennessee's that team that can close it out. So I'm worried. If Creighton, they need to come out firing on all cylinders, and they need to keep that lead going into the second half so they can close this game and make it to the
But I'm
Elite
going to
Eight.
come back to your argument on that when you said Creighton, yeah, they kind of exposed a lot of their holes in that defense, but what did they do in that second overtime against Oregon? They end up jumping out to a 15-point lead, and what do you call a team that does that? A team with adversity. What did I say during Twin Picks? North Carolina has that adversity. Adversity would take you a far way in the tournament, and I think that is why Creighton is actually going to. I got Creighton by 10. I got Creighton by 10. Because I think Creighton is going to show what they
I
do.
have Tennessee in my championship.
Tennessee's losing to
That's
Creighton,
bold.
buddy.
That's bold.
Because let me tell you the biggest difference between Creighton and Tennessee. Tennessee relies so much on inside scoring that when the 3 ball's not there, they have to resort.
They don't rotate their lineup. Like it's just
but with Creighton, their ball movement is so pure and so sophisticated that they are always open on 3. That whole game against Oregon,
Now,
Creighton was always open.
I
for
have a
3,
very
man.
quick game of the week. So what baffles me is Andrew won this Twin Picks, but I am looking at the odds right now. Alabama has a 49.6% to win. North Carolina has a 50.4%.
North Carolina is a 3.5 point favorite.
That's how it's because North Carolina hasn't been playing on all cylinders offensively. Obviously, they're not that. Listen, we know what it is with North Carolina. They're not that great offensively. Sometimes they have times where they get cold and shooting.
They got the rebounding though. They got the rebounding.
They rely on two players. They rely on two players.
They stay in the game, and if they stay in that Alabama game, I promise you, in the second half, North Carolina's going to shut it down. Also, I just got to also point out that Gonzaga really needs to pull off the upset against Purdue because they're also in my Final Four.
Yeah, watch out for Gonzaga. Watch out for Gonzaga.
Prayers
really
up.
Good. They look good, though.
I also really need Terriant Shannon Jr. and that Illinois Fighting Illini to beat the Iowa Hawkeyes, who have had
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Kaylee Clark.
No. I need Iowa State because Iowa State's also in my Final Four. I got them beating UConn.
Iowa State has had the best defense since they beat Houston in the Big 12 championship.
All right. Well, listen, this has all been very entertaining.
Really?
Very awesome. Very fun talking with you guys. I mean, listen, Sports Out of Pocket is a very entertaining show. But you know what's going to be a more entertaining show altogether?
What is it?
Probably nothing.
Tell me.
It's Wolfstock.
Wolfstock
2024.
How did we forget?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the hottest concert that ever hit West Georgia to make its return? Wolf Radio has got you covered with Wolfstock 2024. Unleash the wolf from within. On Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 6 to 9 p.m., there will be live music, food, games, and more in the Campus Center Ballroom. Don't miss out on UWG's own finest performers. Dark Souls Thug, Jay Pruitt, Kamal Saucier, Collar, Lumina, and EXO. Yes, it's going to be a great time. Wolfstock 2024 is brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, America Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions, plus Ozier Apparel. Now, when we come back, we got to get fired up about which teams are going to win it for our March Madness brackets.
What's up, guys? This is Andrew, and you are listening to Sports Outta Pocket.
Walker on first down, it's picked off. What a play!
Only on the Wolf Sports Network.
As I said, guys, make sure to tune to Wolf Sports Network to hear some fire music while we're on our break. We'll be back in 4 minutes.
This is John Howie, your host of Wolf Sports Network's newest podcast. I'm glad the Falcons fired Arthur Smith. I am also joined by Jackson Schrader.
We gotta first say the vibes in South Beach right now are immaculate.
And along with Jason Barker.
DJ Moore is about to make every fantasy manager who needs 30 points dreams come true tonight.
And together, we are Triple Threat. So make sure to tune in on Mondays to get your week started off right.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
Fire me up. All right, everybody, let's look at our brackets and let's see who is going to be our Final Four and who is going to be our champion. Obviously, in this room, it's North Carolina and UConn. I got to be honest, man. I know we talked about it in the debate, and we also talked about it in the previous segment. But North Carolina, man, if they don't get it together, obviously they're going to win the Sweet 16. I'm not worried about that. I'm really not.
You think they get past Alabama pretty okay? Like, you think they're going to be fine in that matchup?
I think that Alabama, after what I saw against Grand Canyon, they can be had.
Thank you. They
can be had.
They can. They get beat with the 3-ball.
Now, I think that North Carolina, in my opinion, I'm looking forward to the Elite Eight. Obviously, with March Madness, you can't be looking forward to it. You just don't know what's going to happen.
You don't. It's unpredictable.
You don't. But man, North Carolina, I think they're going to be able to do what they need to do against Alabama. The two teams that I'm worried about, Iowa State against Illinois. Ooh. And also Gonzaga versus Purdue, who looks like the best team in the tournament right now. Purdue's on a mission, man.
They are.
Listen, I love your
Zach Edey balling out.
I love your Gonzaga Bulldogs pick. I almost called you Brendan. Steven, I really do. But I have Purdue in my Elite Eight. I can't pull for your bull. I'd love to see him upset Purdue. I really would. But like you said, up and down the court in both games so far, it's just been enough. I mean, Purdue put up 107 points against Utah State in the round of 32. That's without overtime. That is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous number. And yeah, I mean, offensively especially, it seems like I don't think anybody can stop Purdue's paint game.
Now, here's what I'm praying for. You know why Gonzaga's going to beat Purdue? Because God did. Because God's on my side. Look. Any team can go cold on any night. Purdue, obviously a very, very hot team. They can shoot the ball well. But maybe on this night, all of a sudden the 3-ball goes away. What's Purdue got? The inside game, if Gonzaga's able to outshoot them in the 3-ball, Gonzaga has a chance of beating this Purdue team.
I know, I can agree with you there, but here's my issue. When you think of Purdue, whose name comes to mind?
Zach Edey?
Thank you. The 7'4", 300-pound unit. Now, here's the thing. He's a senior, and these past 2 seasons for Purdue, they have been eliminated by teams they should have beat. I think he's facing the same case here. But this time, Zach Edey's a senior. This is his last chance to win the big dance. He's not going to let no Gonzaga Bulldogs, who this year, they don't have no NBA star caliber player that has been on the previous Gonzaga team. This would be a failure for Purdue if Gonzaga beats him, and Zach Edey's not going to let it happen.
He's putting all his chips on the
Purdue
table.
lose to in your Final Four?
Creighton.
Actually, no.
I had Creighton beating them in the Elite Eight.
Yes, same here. Creighton beats them in the Elite Eight. Now
that's a pick. That's an interesting.
You think that's an interesting pick?
If Purdue gets past Gonzaga, there's no way they're losing to Creighton.
Oh, hold on. Let me go on a little rant. If y'all want to talk about crazy picks, I've got. So we all know that the ACC has 4 teams standing in the Sweet 16 right now.
Represent 25% of the Sweet 16.
I've got 3 of those ACC teams advancing to the Elite Eight. I got Clemson knocking down Arizona because Arizona, to me, has looked like
this guy won the Twin Picks.
Thank
you.
Arizona to me looks like one of the most vulnerable teams in March Madness. They do not look all that impressive as a number 2 seed. NC State against Marquette is a matchup I feel incredibly high about because NC State has been the best inside scoring team in all of March Madness, and Marquette is slow compared to this Wolfpack team. Marquette, they just stand around, they walk up and down the court. They don't have an aggressive defense unless they really want to, and they don't until late in the game. That is one thing I noticed. Marquette's defensive intensity does not turn up until late in the game, but I believe the Wolfpack is going to make it far too late for there to be any comeback to be mounted. It's going to be NC State in the Final Four, man. I'm telling you, Wolfpack. I'm telling you, dude, you should, just like Wolfstock, you should be scared for Wolfpack, man. We're talking about all this Wolfstock, man. I'm gonna create a dance called the Wolfpack, and I'm gonna debut it on the next episode.
Wait, you
basically
so in your main
else...
bracket, you have NC State, or in your second chance bracket, you have NC State beating
In my main bracket, I have NC State in the Final Four. And Jason, your Kentucky Wildcats lost in the first round. Why you give me that eyeball?
I don't know if you have the room to kind of diss on any of our brackets.
I'm literally a top 4 team right now. Top 4, top 5
right
team
now.
right now.
Congratulations, man. I'm a reigning top 3 team in the league, man.
Reigning.
I know my stuff.
The downfall of Andrew Jefferson needs to be studied. You're
downfall.
in like 8 or 9
My bracket's not even that bad.
You're in like
my
8
bracket
or 9
is 72% right now.
All 3 of you are below me.
Auburn's tough. Also, you tried to go for that Drake pick and it didn't work out for you.
I also went for that Grand Canyon pick against Alabama and came severely close to that.
Well, I just got done talking about back to the NC State Marquette game. NC State had to go neck and neck in overtime with who? Was it that's Oakland? They played Oakland.
Yeah, they played Oakland.
Yeah. The Oakland of Michigan.
Did that game get overtime?
Yeah, it did.
Okay,
it went to overtime. The final
remember.
score was 73-79.
He's right.
Jack
But
Goldke's
NC
draft won
State,
20-something points.
They have Mr. DJ, the Kool-Aid man, saying, "Oh yeah!" in the paint.
I love it, man. I love it. And he's absolutely right.
But it's not enough.
Hold on.
It's not enough.
Against Marquette it is. It's more than enough.
Marquette, they might have been up and down on injuries, but the roster got so healthy at the right time, and there's no sign for them slowing down. If NC State had to go to the death with Oakland from Michigan just to be here, Marquette's not letting them go any further.
But Marquette, not Marquette. Oakland proved against Kentucky that they had players, they had weapons on the court that flew under everyone's radar because they're
Like
they're
Jack
from the wrong
Goldke,
Oakland.
who is statistically one of the best 3-point shooters in this year's tournament.
But look, if you look at that key game, if you look at that game against Marquette and Colorado in the round of 32, one thing I noticed, and it stuck out like a sore thumb, because even Colorado has that really huge center, just like North Carolina's player does. North Carolina has on their team. Marquette's inside defense is tremendously weak. You start backing them down from the free throw line, in the matter of a half second, you're going to be right underneath the goal. They don't have big bodies in the paint like NC State does, and that's going to poise to be a big factor because Colorado almost beat them because of that same thing. When Colorado was reliant and needed a point, they gave it to their center, and he just walked down to the paint every single time. You know that Iowa State women player that dropped like 40 points and all she did was hit
freshman?
layups? That's what it was for Marquette the entire game. And that's why it's going to be an issue against NC State.
Marquette is great at guarding the outside, and relying on one offensive player to carry your scheme can only take you so far.
NC State's got
exactly, but Marquette's one of the best 3-point shooting defensive teams in the tournament. It doesn't match up well. It doesn't match. You can only that can only go so far though.
That should be your fundamental reliant efficiency when it comes to basketball. It's scoring in the paint, not the 3 ball.
I'm sorry.
I'm sounding like an old head right now, but it's true. I mean,
this isn't Iowa State's freshman playing Eastern Washington in the women's tournament. This is NC State in the Sweet 16 of the men's tournament.
Exact same result, buddy.
You can't rely on that the whole game. It's not going to get you to
I
the
will
Elite
say
Eight.
this. I think that NC State and Marquette is going to be a back and forth game. In my opinion, it's going to be a game that's going to to come down to that one shot in like the last minute of the game.
ACC championship, in the ACC championship,
NC State beat North Carolina.
Yeah. They did.
And then
thank you. That should open your eyes.
You had North Carolina over UConn.
He's showing
why you should have won.
The conference tournament has no reflection on March Madness.
It does. If that's the case, then Houston Cougars should have been eliminated in the round of 32.
Or UConn didn't even win the Big East last year.
NC State's just riding a high right now. NC State's just riding a high right now.
Exactly. That's why they're in my Final
Four. And also,
Four.
on that same vein, Auburn should have sat there and mowed their way into
what's
the
your point?
Elite
What
Eight.
is your point?
Sometimes conference games just don't reflect on the team.
They don't. They never do. They never once have.
I will say that NC State has been riding that high because, what's the amount of games that they've won in a row now?
7 in a row. 7 in a row.
They're riding that high. I think, like I told you, NC State, it would not shock me if they beat Marquette. And honestly, I have no gain in it because I picked freaking Kentucky to win in this stupid.
I don't have any gain either.
It's whatever, man. I'll root for NC State, but then in the Elite Eight, I hope they get.
They're not. They're going all the way to the Final Four. Then they're going to lose to Creighton.
All right. Well, that's all we have time for this episode of Sports Outta Pocket. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week because we are going to have a different host for the show. It's going to be
somebody. It's one of us three.
One of us, one of the probably.
Stay tuned to find out.
Let's do it.
Chase
Jefferson is going to host the show next week. I'm going to be on the board. It's going to be crazy, guys. You're not going to want to miss a single second of it. And also, I mean, come on, we also got to tune in to see what happened for the Sweet 16.
We're gonna have a lot of results be
Lots
open.
of things to talk about.
Oh gosh, I really freaking hope
And
that.
this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, Major League Baseball returns.
Yeah!
Braves, we're marching for that
we
World
should
Series,
be playing
baby.
tomorrow, man. What's up with this rain?
Yeah,
What's up with this
predetermined.
anticipated rain?
Rain. All right, well, we will see you all next week, same time, same day. Hey, before we go, make sure you all are tuning into Sports Pack tomorrow, every Monday and Thursday at 6 to 7 p.m. And also, Triple Threat Podcast. Make sure you all are tuning into them. Mr. John Howley, Jackson Schrader, Jason Parker. They got a great show over there. Great podcast. Man,
we better see
great
you
stuff here at Sports.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we will see you all next week.